Hi, and welcome to the Contenders Corner Podcast, where we talk everything that is wrestling. I am your host, Jason, and join me as I dissect this episode of HardTalk. We are an unbiased show here. We'll go into this episode with an open mind, and I am joined by Scott and Ian tonight. And yeah, guys, whether it's good or bad, we aren't afraid on this show to hit home some honest, thunderous thoughts. If you're new to this, then please like, share, comment and subscribe, and comment in the comment section below and share with us your opinions of what wrestling has been like over the past 6 to 5 months. Vince McMahon continues to bring in the controversy. AEW seem to be continuing the heat. More news for AEW coming our way, and a lot of more controversy for WWE seems to glitter around every day. But yeah, stay with us as we have a lot to discuss here tonight, this evening. YouTube, are you ready? This is the Contenders Corner Podcast HardTalk. Right, guys, you know I'm not going to beat around the bush. eBay, it's our brand new shop, Retro House 45. Go on there, guys. We sell t-shirts, memorabilia, posters, label pins, you name it, guys. It is on there. Retro House 45 over on eBay. But anyway, guys, let's jump straight into this. Sorry for my little rant there, but that's the reason why Jay has been in and out for the past couple of weeks. Life has its hard times, life has its struggles, but you got to keep moving, you got to keep going. Yeah, guys. Vince McMahon. We'll start off with Scott. Scott, the controversy seems to continue. Like I asked Ian last night, and we had a good discussion. We'd have hoped you would have. Yeah, it was a great one, and I'm gonna edit it tonight and upload it, and then we'll do the same with this one as well. Yeah. As a viewer, if I'd have asked you the same question I did last week, are you afraid? Are you worried with what's going on with Vince McMahon? As I asked you last week, I'm asking you again this week. As a fan, are you worried?
A little bit, yeah.
Why?
Well, last time Vince McMahon was running the basically functioning and the booking of the WWE, it was a low not witnessed for at least a couple of decades.
Mm.
And it wasn't in a good place. It wasn't a good place creatively. It wasn't a good place for the work colleagues, and you could tell by the atmosphere backstage that it was quite poor backstage. But then when Triple H came over, it did start to boost. There started to be more life within the company, and there were stars coming back. There was new creative ideas being put into it. And
yep.
Now that it's sort of taken to come back, Stephanie's already stepped down from the position that she had yesterday. Now there's even more strong rumours about a potential sale of the company, which always puts people on edge because you don't know whether the new employers want to keep you or anything like that.
Mm.
So it's bringing doubt and indecision back into it, because now you're wondering whether the futures will be bright again.
Yeah.
And what continue going it has been. But I am positive that Vince will stay away from creative for the time being. Because the way I see it, Triple H has already booked Money in the Bank for London on the 1st of July. I think he should at least still be in creative control on July 2nd. That's my personal opinion, because you've already booked that show. He should be at least be given a chance to carry on with his booking. At least carry on from where he's taking it. That's my opinion. If you're playing a show for London on July 1st, you have to push everything and carry on.
But the question lingers, doesn't it? Yep. With news circulating, I asked this to Ian yesterday. If you was Tony Khan, would you be loving this right now?
That's a great question. If I was Tony Khan, of course your ears will prick up. You're seeing the main rival fall into a state of indecision again, and now that will only benefit you, because fans will remember what happened with Vince in charge, and they will again want to seek that alternative, and that is what AEW is. It is the alternative, probably the number one alternative in North America. So yeah, it will attract more eyes on them. If the
idea of them selling to Saudi Arabia, because it was rumoured that he had signed a deal with Saudi Arabia, what are your thoughts of that circulating, yesterday?
A little bit concerned when I saw it.
Concerned in what way? Is it because of their beliefs? So a question for a question. Would the women's division be worried if Saudi Arabia was to buy WWE?
Sorry, what was that? You broke up a little bit there.
Would the women's division be fearful if Saudi Arabia was to pick up WWE out of this?
I think there's always going to be something in the back of their minds, of course. And then, because the laws of women, especially not just in Saudi Arabia, but in the Middle East in general, is quite far behind, a million miles behind how England, United States, and most other countries operate when it comes to women's rights, and it is ridiculously far behind for 2023. I get it's their laws, and they have the right to set their laws to whatever they want them to be. That's up to them. But when it inhibits the freedom of certain people that want to express themselves in the way that they want to, then a conversation needs to happen.
Yeah.
And it's not just women. What about those who are secretly hiding their sexuality? There could be at least a few men on the WWE roster that are secretly hiding their sexuality from the public, and they will also be affected. Plus, you've also got guys like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, who doesn't travel to the Saudi Arabian pay-per-views. Obviously, Sami I think he is Arabic. He's got Arabic blood. He's got Arabic family, and he would have strong rule opinions on it. Same as Kevin Owens and certain other stars. So, I think a lot of people will be thinking about their future if this deal was to go ahead.
Also, Is this the beginning of the end then? I know I asked this question to you last week. We're going to ask it again to both of you this time. Is this the beginning of the end?
I'll let Ian go first on this one.
Well, easily, no, it's not the beginning of the end, because they still have the Royal Rumble booked for January. They have WrestleMania sold out without even announcing a single match, and they have the Money in the Bank with pay-per-view in the O2. So the money is still going to come in, no matter who the potential buyer is.
But if
I agree. I think the answer this very second has to be no. Purely because we don't know. There's conflicting reports coming through social media and platforms. Some saying the deal's been agreed, some completely muting that idea altogether. So until we know more on the future of the ownership of the WWE, we have to consider the answers to that question as no at this point in time.
Plus, there have been talks now that Nick Khan has held meetings with Disney and ESPN as well.
ESPN I can live with, because at least that is a sporting channel.
It's a sporting one.
It's a sporting body, isn't it? But Disney, right? What are your thoughts on it, Scott? Disney or ESPN, Netflix, Amazon? Which one would you want to be picked up as a body?
I'll write ESPN.
ESPN.
That's the ESPN.
Not even Fox.
Possibly. It all depends on what their plans are.
What about you, Ian?
Well, ESPN and Fox would treat it like a sport, hopefully. Would treat it like a sport. Would they want to keep Triple H in the same position, though, is also the question. Would they want Triple H to remain in the same position because of how he's done a good job so far in the creative area? With Disney, they'd only take it as property. They wouldn't put their trademark on it. When you think of all the stuff Disney has at the moment, you think of Simpsons, Marvel, Star Wars. They're not called Disney Simpsons or Disney Star Wars or Disney's Marvel. It'd just be property to them for more more money.
But would it damage WWE? Them?
I don't think so. No, it wouldn't damage them in any way. Because they wouldn't, the people in Disney wouldn't be running the product. It'd still be the same people. Your Triple H's, your Nick Khans, your Vinces. Would they make it adults? I don't know really. But they have a channel on the Disney network on the Disney Plus called Stars, which shows a lot of old adult Fox shows because they own 20th Century Fox, and they have a load of old and current adult films, as in films with violence. That's what I mean. I don't mean dirt.
Yeah, I get you.
No, it'd be more of a deal to them. Although you'd get some people that would say that, because there's always been people that said that Disney ruined Star Wars, and then you could get the same people that say Disney ruined WWE. It's it's a no-win situation. If it was Netflix or Amazon, I don't know what they do with them. If they went to someone say HBO, it'd still be the same thing. You're not going to get it. You're not going to get what they do on HBO with shows like House of Dragons or the upcoming Last of Us series. You won't get raunchy sex or extreme violence.
But if it got picked up by Fox or ESPN, it would look more like a sport then. That's what you're saying.
It would probably look more like a sport, but you wouldn't. You'd still get some of the it would look like some sport, but hopefully the same traits that are happening at the moment, giving the commentators more freedom and how the wrestling is done at the moment, would still be there. But would it be still called sports entertainment though?
Do you think whoever is the next buyer out of this, do you think they would change a lot of things, Scott?
Well, they've got a lot of pressure to cover it. If you're taking over a company like this, especially considering the fact you've got no wrestling background whatsoever. You're going every single decision that they make will be highly scrutinised with magnifying glass by the public.
So every decision they make will be just highly criticised. Basically, that's what you're saying.
Depending on what happens, yeah.
So here's another question. I asked this one to Ian last night. Would it benefit them just to keep it in the family?
I think it needs to be someone with a keen understanding of the business. Even if it's not a McMahon, if you've got somebody that owns it, that has a keen understanding of the business. I mean, I'll use Manchester United as a prime example. Now, the Glazers they've been American-owned for nearly 20 years, maybe longer than 20 years now. And they have got zero knowledge of football game, and the fans absolutely despise them. Now, if you had a local businessman who had a lot of money to come in, who knows about the sport and knows about the game, then they will make decisions based on what the fans want and how to move the club going forward as a profitable business that also stays close to its roots. And I think WWE needs something very, very similar to that. Someone with an interest in the business who knows what fans want and is keen to listen to that and take in the right advice.
I was actually pointing out, I was just listening to what you're saying about United, because I was saying to yesterday on the show that the Saudis own Newcastle United, but they don't. I don't know if they care about that either.
Yeah, that is exactly true, and Manchester City too.
They own Manchester City.
Well, they are owned by an Arab sort of a very billionaire, but I don't think the fans really care about that so much. Look at the success they've had.
I know. I was listening to Wrestle Talk and all that, and everyone's having the fear of the idea that they'd move the WWE to the actual country, like sort of in a vain way, like all those billionaires that came together to form the European Super League with Liverpool, United, and Chelsea and City.
Yeah, and inexplicably us as well.
Yes.
Which is a bit like Johnny Vegas joining the cast The Expendables.
If an idea was put to the table and Stephanie McMahon wanted to buy WWE, I asked this Ian last night as well. Could you see all the wrestlers gathering up and helping to do it?
Yeah, I do, because I mean, look at the outpouring she got from employees, past employed WWE. When she announced that she was stepping down, a lot of people have come out and said, "Thank you, Stephanie, thank you for what she's done." She helped bring about the women's revolution in 2015, when the likes of Bayley, Charlotte, Sasha, Becky all came out to the main roster. She was a big advocate behind that, which changed the way WWE viewed women's wrestling. Sadly, that's stagnated a bit over the last couple of years, but I think if she was the big person to own the company, then I think WWE will be in very, very good hands.
Or, because I know Ian stated that NWA are having a lot of trouble lately. Could you see Stephanie McMahon and Triple H going to help NWA bring it back better? But could you see many talent from WWE go over to NWA?
Well, that will all depend on what happens in the next few months. If Vince does sell, or if Vince takes over the creative role again, then anything is possible. But right now, the way it stands, yes, Vince is back on the board in a more prominent role. But as it stands, Triple H is still in his position as the head of creative. And right now, I think his his job is basically just to keep an eye on what he's doing. He can only judge on his job at the moment, and I think that's where his full process is right now.
But is his job under scrutiny? With the idea of Vince McMahon lingering around.
Oh, of course. Vince still owns the company. He's probably the sole proprietor of World Wrestling Entertainment. So with him hanging around, of course, got to be scrutinised. But hopefully, he keeps Triple H in the position that he's in. Because the last thing we need right now is a golden egg going around as part of the show, and some of the crazy ideas that he had, and fans delusion of it. So
would you say that Vince McMahon is delusional, Ian?
Yes, he is delusional. He's obsessed. He's dedicated his whole life to the whole of WWE and has done nothing with else but that. Like, he's no outside hobbies besides working out, and he doesn't go out and drink or anything like that. He's just very dedicated to his company.
And the first sign of madness is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different.
And expecting what? Sorry, say that again because you just muffled.
The first sign of madness is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result each time. But the result will stay the same, and that is disillusioned wrestling fans probably jumping over to AEW or Impact or New Japan or whichever.
And you would say that he is mad?
He's definitely out of touch, that's for sure.
He's out of touch.
Definitely out of touch.
A lot of people would say that Vince McMahon, with the controversy that he has had over the last couple of months, 4 to 6 months, with the sex scandals and whatnot, would you say? Would you reckon there's more?
Oh, I'm sure there's always more. I mean, we're seeing a part of the story, but I think every story something is held back. So there's definitely something that has gone down. You know, and they've obviously he was taken off his position, so there was obviously the investigation that went on was real. It was definitely a real life happening, and that's why the changes happened. So
would you say that he got threatened, basically? Go away, or things are just going to get worse for yourself, basically?
Possibly. I think that's got to be... I think something like that must have gone down. But I still expect things to be the way they have been, because Vince McMahon completely changed the recruitment policy over the last few years. But in the last few weeks, we have seen WWE sign up Dragon Lee and yesterday Carl Fredericks from New Japan to a working contract. So these decisions are definitely Triple H orientated decisions. So I have to still consider the fact that Triple H is going to be in charge. If Vince was in charge of everything, those signs wouldn't happen, I don't think.
I get you.
We could also be seeing the possibility of Hikuleo and Tamatonga, and also in WWE. They're looking at trying to get Jay White in there.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
Yeah, Jay White will be a challenger, alright. His contract with Japan expires. We know that both WWE and AEW are interested in him, but I'd say the favour for Jay White will go to AEW because of the return of Adam Cole this week.
Yeah.
100%.
100%. AEW signed. Right, so last Sasha Banks. Do you think she will go to AEW?
Well, I think a lot of people was expecting her to show up last night.
She didn't.
She didn't. To my knowledge, she didn't. I've not seen the show.
No,
yet,
she didn't.
She didn't.
But I have seen comments online saying that she never showed up. So
no, she's not signed a deal with AEW. There was a lot of talk last week that she had, but she hasn't.
Unless it's put back a bit. I'd say she's doing what Daniel Bryan did before he went to AEW. Same scenario with Chris Jericho. Same scenario with Dean Ambrose, John Moxley. I'd say they are just working in New Japan for a bit. She's going to have a couple of good matches over there. And then by the summer, expect her to make volumes in AEW. And surely it will. I think it will send shockwaves. Right, so here's a question, because I've asked this to Ian last night as well. With the whole Vince McMahon scenario coming back, would Sasha Banks be glad that she hasn't re-signed her contract with WWE, Scott?
most likely, yeah. She will look at that and think that she's glad to be out there. And I think a lot of people who have left WWE and have not been invited back or are under contract elsewhere most likely feel the same.
Hmm. If you was someone with a bit of power in WWE, what would your thoughts of this whole scenario be? Do you think personally he's just jealous of the short success that Stephanie McMahon and Triple H have had, and he's just been some crazy delusional crybaby and has just gone, right, fuck this, I'm going to take everyone out? Sorry for my French.
Yeah. Vince McMahon is an egomaniac. A serious egomaniac. And if he will see that things are being better without him, that will dent his pride. And he will try and come back and he'll want a part of it. But I think if he is going to come back, he has to go with how things have been since he's left. He can't go back to the same things he was doing before. He needs to learn and adapt to the wrestling universe. But what fans want. I think he needs to start booking around the fans rather than trying to convince the fans to understand his way. And it's the only way his return will benefit WWE is if he keeps Triple H very, very close to him and to work alongside him rather than just letting his very weird, screwed up creative mind take over the future of WWE. Because I don't want that, you don't want that, I'm fairly sure Ian don't want that either.
No.
So that's the way it has to be.
The next 5 months, what would you expect to? What would you expect WWE to be like? Is it? Are we going to expect some more controversy in the next week? Or are we going to expect some more controversy in the next month? is something big gonna go down in the next 3 to 2 months?
Oh, there's bound to be. Come on, when have you known the wrestling world not to be controversial? This is professional wrestling. This is like Hollywood, and glitz and glamour, all rolled into that massive ball. That is what professional wrestling is. So you're gonna have characters that are gonna cause controversy, and there's the day-to-day running of the wrestling world, not just in WWE but all over, is always a controversial platform. So there's bound to be some controversy, but my expectation is for it to carry on under a Triple H creative reign, and that is what I'm expecting to at least Money in the Bank, because he's booked that show, he's planned it for London on Saturday the 1st of July. He's also brought in some great independent talents in Dragon Lee and Carl Fredericks, which are most likely to the NXT brand. So I'm expecting the creative running of the company to stay the way it is until at least the summer.
But the thing that we all fear, if right now Triple H's job is just safe, but then somewhere out the blue Triple H is gone, is that then the beginning of the end, Ian?
If he's gone, well, it depends on what happens then. Does he get moved to a different position in the company, or does he go altogether? Like, it will hurt them all right, because there is a lot of people backstage who admire Triple H for what he's done so far.
That's what I'm saying. So this is what I mean. So you fear, like right now, you everyone is just hanging in there for the sake of Triple H. It's like pins and needles, isn't it? A needle.
There's some that are keeping it together. Like, I read an interview that Gunter is keeping it together. He's keeping his nose out of the backstage area and just wants to focus on the wrestling.
Yeah, I saw a quotation from that. Yeah.
And that's what they need to do. Like, whenever, like, it's the same with any job. If there's some stuff going on backstage, you just keep your head down and just focus on your work, and just until something comes up. It's like that in every job.
If that needle is dropped and Triple H disappears, what's it like for you as a viewer, Scott?
Oh, well, my first thought would be, oh no, not this bleep again.
bleep again.
Yeah.
Basically, here we go again. We have to here we go again. As Luke said to Han, I have a bad feeling about this.
But I've got a bad feeling about all this. I think,
as Luke said to Han before they boarded the Death Star,
I think it's the calm before the storm at the moment. I think it's only just begun, and it's all started with Stephanie. It's all started with Stephanie leaving.
Sorry?
I said it's the calm before the storm. I think it's going to get worse. I think it's building up to some massive big storm, and it's all started with Stephanie going, all the board members going, Vince McMahon wanting to sell up, pushing out everybody else and bringing in all these new people. Can he actually do that? Anyone?
Can he?
Like, he was he weren't kicked out, but he was. He left. Put Stephanie McMahon as CEO. But can he come back? Just force himself to come back, and then get rid of everybody?
I wouldn't recommend it. I certainly would not recommend that.
Why?
Because, well, I mean, first, there was a massive investigation around you regarding your conduct with employees and women that spread for.
But isn't that what's happened though? Like, he's been forced out because of the gross misconduct around employees backstage. Some people would argue that he ain't done anything wrong. A handful of people would say, well, yeah and no, but you just seem to be like some creep at the moment. But for me, it's like, well, could there be somebody or a few more? But he's done more with those. You get me? But they ain't come forward yet. Would you?
Then they might need to come forward then. If there is honest foul play that's gone down, then people need to speak up.
But like, is it
his company? He owns the company, and as much as people hate to think about it, he has the power to do whatever he wants. We don't agree with that, but at the end of the day, that's the reality we live in.
If he goes mad and insane and delusional again, and we see another massive release, another massive storm of releases, would Tony be like, I told you so?
Possibly. Yeah. So, Tony Khan has a habit of being... Because Tony Khan is also an egomaniac. That's not like... He is also very outspoken on social media, and he likes a little dig at people. So, yeah, Tony Khan would definitely do that.
The only weakness Tony Khan has is that he can't always handle criticism.
Yeah.
But Tony Khan can't sign everybody WWE releases, and like there is a bigger world out there in the world of wrestling outside of WWE, especially like with New Japan, Ring of Honor, Impact, and MWF and MLW and AAA.
Yeah, but like this is what we said many other times. You know, I think like what Tony should be doing right now is just focusing in on what AEW is doing.
Yeah, because they had a good show. They had a good show yesterday.
Yeah, I totally agree. They should be eyeing up.
It was a very good show yesterday. Like, it was really hard to decide which was the match of the night, though. But it had to be between Mox and Page versus Takeshita and Danielson.
For me, right now, if I was Tony Khan, I would be watching closely to Ospreay. I'll be wanting to. I would be wanting to watch MJF, you know, closely, because I would be wanting to. That's my main focus. That would be my main drive, to make sure either he signs that new deal, but if he doesn't want to sign that new deal and he wants to go, then you've got to look towards the next young big talent that you want.
Well, there's a big option there, right? But I think he needs to focus on the upcoming bidding spree of 2023 with Jay White.
That's what I'm saying. So you look towards your next big star. If the MJFs are gonna leave your company.
Well, he does have he does have some good options out there. I'm not just talking about every ex-WWE guy like Danielson or Adam Cole. Like, there are options. Like, I would say Darby Allin would be one, but I don't think he wants to be involved in the title scene. You have also then Jungle Boy could be someone that could carry. Wardlow would carry the company well.
You focus on your pillars. This is Scott said this many times. You know, he should be focusing on his talent that have stayed there, loyal to him.
Yeah, he does. Like, there are options. Like, Ricky Starks is definitely ready for a big time push.
But is he ready?
Like, someone who needs to get back in the push, who was getting pushed from last year but has fallen way down the wagon in AEW, is Eddie Kingston. I mean, like, he's going to be wrestling on Rampage with Santana against the House of Black. Like, he hasn't been on Dynamite in ages, would you believe?
If you was to sign someone, Scott, to replace MJF, who would you choose?
Oh. I think Will Ospreay is definitely a good shout.
Yeah, definitely a good shout.
I mean, great heel.
Mm.
And
Hello?
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 Hello? Say that again, sorry. Will Ospreay, yeah.
Yeah, he's great heel, great babyface. He's young, athletic, charismatic. He's probably a great merch seller. I mean, he's definitely someone you can build a company around.
What are your thoughts of the new look for AEW? We'll start with Scott.
Oh, I love it. I think it's brilliant. I think it makes the arenas look bigger. The set looks a lot more professional, in my opinion. It's looking more and more like a big time professional wrestling company as time goes on.
Is that a good thing, though, Ian? Yeah, it's a good. You want to make sure the company's kept fresh. The only thing I didn't want them to change was change the music, because that song does suit Dynamite.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, the song was just fucking brilliant. Sorry for my French again.
You can't change that song. That'll hurt them.
Yeah, that was brilliant, though, man. I don't know why they changed that song. I really do not know why.
Wait, who changed the song?
What? Sorry.
No, you're saying someone changed the song. I was saying that they didn't change the song. Hopefully they keep it now.
Oh, so they haven't changed it. Sorry.
No, they still have this. They still have the AEW Dynamite song. Dynamite. I forget the name of the band that does it. But it's like a new metal band or something. But no, they've still got that going. They can't change that now. Like it would annoy a bit of fans. Like they take that away and replace it with another generic mainstream rock song or a generic pop song or a generic R&B song.
But isn't this what WWE do, though?
Well, WWE sometimes have good rock songs, and like SmackDown, like the best they had "Are You Ready" by AC/DC for SmackDown for a while, and then they changed that.
Yeah.
And then they've had in the past like acts like Shinedown do it, and then they replaced them. NXT was a haven like for rock and metal back in Black and Gold era, especially like with bands like Slipknot playing for them as well, but.
Have they got rid of the Are You Ready?
They're always still gonna have that connection to pop music and rap and R&B.
Have they got rid of Are You Ready then?
They seem to. I haven't seen that. They haven't officially. They replaced it with something, but you don't see the SmackDown intro all the time compared to Raw. Like you don't see NXT intro and all, but they still use. There's still a rock song there, but there's some pop songs that get played when the women come on. There's still a bit of rock in there as well, like.
Do you prefer the intro then?
I preferred their Black and Gold intro. But like that would suit me because I'm a rock fan. I'm a fan of rock and metal music.
Tell you what, guys.
But like no matter like who they get, they'll always still depend on mainstream music. How long before when we get the ads to WrestleMania, we'll hear something from The Weeknd? Like they've used his music for the last 3 WrestleManias.
Yeah, they have, yeah.
And it's no harm because The Weeknd is he's quite catchy. I sometimes find myself singing to a few of his songs. Hello?
Could you see Sasha Banks going to AEW, Scott?
I think she's on a New Japan date at the moment. I think she's focused on her date in New Japan against Kairi.
She's working with New Japan and Stardom.
Okay, so I think at the moment she's probably focused on that.
On that, yeah.
Yeah, she said before she's only taken independent booking. She doesn't want to commit to another company. Like, she doesn't want a 3-year contract with AEW. Or else she gets the Japan system out of herself and goes back to WWE, because there's no more rankings in AEW at the moment. So, like, does she want to really get lost in the shuffle with the company and then be down the flipping wrestling on Dark or the other one that's on YouTube, I keep forgetting its name, or wrestling on Rampage of all things after SmackDown?
Elevation you're on about, aren't you?
Elevation, yeah. Does she want to be doing that? No, she just really needs to just do her own thing for a while, have more freedom, because she was in a long commitment with WWE, so have a bit of freedom for a while.
Could you see her in the future go to AEW, Scott? Somewhere down the line?
In the future, possibly. I think anything is possible. If a company comes in, offers right there.
Hello?
Yeah, signal's not great.
Scott?
Hello? Hello? There must be something interfering with the signal.
Scott?
Scott?
We'll wait for him to come back.
Okay.
Could CM Punk?
CM Punk?
Yeah, CM Punk. Can you see him coming back to AEW?
If a deal can be worked out, then probably, unless he's willing to work with the Bucks and Kenny Omega.
Or do you think he's done?
But then again, you also have to be aware of the toxic background he's brought back in the past. Like, so you have to ask whether they want, because we know that the likes of locker room leaders like Mox and Omega and Jericho want to keep him out. We have seen that before. They may continue to keep him out.
I'm gonna wrap this up here as Scott's just like disappeared.
Yeah, no problem. I'll have to get ready anyway, because I have to head out. I have to get something to eat, and then I have to head out for self-defense.
Exactly. So, thanks for joining again. Thank you,
No
Scott.
problem. It's always been fun.
Thank you, Scott, for joining us this evening, and hope to catch you on Monday or Wednesday. And I'll see you then.
No problem.
Have a good evening.
See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye. Have a good weekend.
Thank you very much, mate.